Hello, you join us here on our last morning in sunny Mexico.
And I think it's going to be on this very sunny morning that we share with you all what must be the most genius idea we've ever had on this channel.
And what I think is the best van life hack out there.
However, as with any great idea, there is of course a chance it will fail.
So if you're one of those sick f***s out there that revel in people's pain, make sure you subscribe to the channel. But first, a little bit of backstory.
When the world started shutting down in early 2020, we decided to go after a decade-long dream of owning our very own campervan in the UK. And after being scammed by the first van we bought, we ended up with our very own VW T4, which we transformed into the camper of our dreams, and have since used it to travel around England, Scotland, and across mainland Europe. But now we have the dream of van life in America.
We've been to the States a number of times on this channel, and I actually grew up in the States until I was around 12.
She actually used to have an American accent.
Full-on American accent.
And you know the Pledge of Allegiance. Go on.
I do, it's drilled into me forever. How about, if they subscribe and they watch the rest of the series, I will do the Pledge of Allegiance in one of the videos, in full.
Okay, deal.
Okay, so it's always nice to go back to the US and reminisce and feel nostalgic, so we're really excited to be going back again. On our previous trips to the US, we did actually hire camper vans, and we really developed a love for the great American road trip.
So we've packed our bags and are making our way to America once more. On our previous trips, we hired rental RVs to explore this beautiful country, tasting the variety of food on offer.
So I went for the chili cheese dog because it's just such a great name. Oh, God. Like when you open it, it doesn't... I mean, I can't even see the dog.
Marveling at the differences between life in the UK and life in the US.
I hate in America going to the bathroom. It's the worst feeling. Everyone has these huge slats. Every bathroom I've been to here.
And our favourite thing of all, the US national parks.
What a beautiful animal. I just can't believe what an oasis in the desert this place is. And just to stumble onto this silhouette of a stag in the backdrop is outrageous.
But nothing compares to doing a road trip in your very own camper. So the plan was to ship our van from the UK over to the US while we waited it out with a road trip around Mexico in the meantime.
We started working our way through the checklist of things we needed to do, which was a little bit daunting, but we were still so excited about it. That was until we started getting the quotes through. We were being quoted up to £15,000 to ship our tiny little VW campervan across to the States one way, bearing in mind our van only cost us about £4,000 to buy. I don't know about you guys, but that just seemed nuts to us, and we could not justify spending that much money on a one-way trip. So we got our thinking caps on, and this is when we came up with our genius idea.
So shipping our van was off the table, but we weren't going to give up that easily. Reluctantly, the next logical step seemed to be renting, but this is not cheap for longer trips. And for a 1-month trip, we were getting quotes anywhere from around $5,000 to $15,000.
So here's what we've established so far. Renting is going to be the least amount of stress, but it's expensive with nothing to show for it.
Yeah, and that time constraint is not so good for the amount of money that you're going to be spending.
And then when you look at shipping, it's going to be a similar cost. And that's just one way. And then you've got things like a lot of paperwork, a lot of stress. For example, it could get stuck in a dock on the way out there if the paperwork has been filled out incorrectly.
Sounds like an absolute nightmare.
And then also when you're trying to return it, again, because of the visa restriction of how long you can spend in the US, if you break down on the last few days before you're supposed to be going back, like that's it, you're kind of stuffed.
Yeah, so shipping is off the cards. Renting is off the cards. What could we possibly do instead of those two things?
So we were so outraged by these prices that we jokingly said, we can buy a van for that price.
And then the penny dropped.
We can buy a van.
We can buy a van for that price.
So the reasoning was that for less than the cost of shipping it out or renting, we should be able to buy one that we could then in theory use as a holiday home in North America. So we would have our van in Europe and we would have a separate van in North America that we could go out to every year.
It feels like it's too good to be true.
Yeah, and I don't feel like many people are doing this.
Yeah.
Which made me then worry, is this even possible?
So the question is it possible for us as foreigners to buy a vehicle in the US?
And the short answer is yes, but it's not necessarily straightforward. So depending on the state that you're in, you don't necessarily have to be a US citizen. But certain states, you do need to be a resident of that state. Whereas other states, you might just need an address to be able to send the registration to.
It's all very confusing.
But it looks like the main two hurdles that we've got to overcome here are registering the vehicle and getting insurance. And getting insurance isn't necessarily easy because they won't always insure foreigners. But if we are able to get insurance, it would also mean that we, as the policyholders, are covered for Canada as well, which effectively gives you 3 months in the US each year and 3 months in Canada each year.
But as long as we overcome these hurdles, there are a bunch of benefits that we will get from going with this option rather than shipping or renting.
So the first obvious benefit is that the price is not too dissimilar to the other options.
And we have something to show at the end of it, and something we can go back and see time and time again and use to go to new places every year.
It is possible to keep your vehicle in storage in the US, so it really could be as simple as dropping it off at the end of your trip, going away, and then when you want to come back to it, you have accommodation and transport waiting for you.
Another benefit is we've always talked about having a holiday home, but we can never actually agree or decide on where that could possibly be in the world.
We're also commitment phobes as well.
That too. But this seems like a really nice happy medium because it's a little holiday home on wheels, so we can take it wherever we like within reason.
Also in the UK, our campervan is very small, and one of the reasons is that the roads are a lot smaller in Europe, but out here everything is bigger, ergo better. So we'll be able to get a bigger campervan or RV.
Yeah, so we're not sure exactly what we're going to go for yet. We're going to look at a whole variety of shapes and sizes and see what fits best for us, but we're just excited to have a lot more options than we did when we were shopping around in the UK.
But the one thing we are definitely looking for this time is a shower, because if you spend that long with someone who is so stinky, guys.
He's talking about himself.
I am talking about myself.
Another really great benefit is we're not going to be time restricted like we would be with rentals. That's one thing that always puts a dampener on a trip, is when you're kind of like halfway through, you want to stop somewhere for a little while because you absolutely love it, but you can't because you only have X amount of days until you have to return your rental van.
And then the fact that you're then only constrained to your visa length, which, yeah, the standard visa for a UK national is 3 months in the US, 3 months in Canada, and up to 6 months in Mexico. In theory, you could be traveling year round in the North America, Central America continent.
If you would like to follow along this journey to see whether or not we succeed with the RV and the trip that ensues with it, then hit that subscribe button.
Also, leave in the comments, do you have any experience of buying a vehicle abroad? We were scammed in the past with the first vehicle we bought, so we are always extremely nervous about buying a vehicle, especially in another country. We're definitely out of our depth.
We've skirted over this topic a little bit. Maybe we're a tad embarrassed about the whole situation, but yeah, it wasn't our best moment in Travel Bean's history, but we really hope we don't get scammed again on this one.
So make sure you hit the subscribe button if you want to follow along, and nothing left to say, but thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time, and beans out.